The Chronicles of Narnia. I came to the Narnia stories late, only reading them in my early teens. I had little knowledge then of the author's connections with Belfast and Northern Ireland, but was easily caught up in the legend of Aslan, the compassionate, loving but fearsome lion whose elusive presence dominates the fantasy series. I, like many other youngsters, loved to read everything written by a newly discovered author and was frustrated to find that he had not written any other novels for young people, with most of his books being non-fiction. But I did find out that he had also written a trilogy of science fiction novels, Out of a Silent Planet, Perelandra, and That Hideous Strength. Not being a science fiction fan, it took me a while to get round to them, but I quite enjoyed them. Having revisited them recently, they seem very dated when compared with the modern science fiction fantasy genre, which have absorbed the vast advances in world building and science that have occurred since the 1930s, when the trilogy was written. The Narnia stories were not published until the 1950s. Interestingly, the science fiction trilogy, as well as the Narnia series, were conceived during the period of time when the author, C.S. or Jack Lewis, was meeting regularly with a group called the Inklings in Oxford University. They were literary enthusiasts who valued the use of narrative in fiction and encouraged the writing of fantasy and the creation of fantastical worlds. Their number included J.R.R. Tolkien, who went on brilliantly to write first The Hobbit, aimed at children, and then developing the age range of his audience through the epic Lord of the Rings. You can see how much Jack Lewis was influenced by his connection to them in his early writing, but interesting to note that Jack never returned to writing children's fantasy or science fiction afterwards. It served as a stepping stone for him to write for the adult audience that he was more used to. The Narnia stories and Aslan have captured generation of children's imagination over the years, with interest in the adventures of the Pevensey children being sparked again and again by a number of screen productions, including a series on the BBC in 1988 and films released in 2005 to 2008. Now there's a new series being released on Netflix soon, and hopefully it will inspire another generation of children to embrace the magical world of Narnia on screen, as well as turning them back to the source material which has stood the test of time, the 7 titles which make up the Narnia series. I think it's important to make sure that these books are kept to the forefront of our children's reading, as Narnia is a significant part of our cultural heritage. They are great for bedtime stories, and even if you think your child is too old to be read to, it's worth trying. You never know, you may find you enjoy that dedicated time as much as they do.